Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class for the 19th of February, 2022. You always bless us with another Sabbath. So we'll be dealing with the tabernacle in the wilderness and explain. I'm asking everybody to like, share, and subscribe to the Prophets of Awakening channel and hit the notification button if you can. This is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh is the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance. Thus says the Lord, and we deal with the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai by our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts. I want to say shalom and welcome everybody to the Prophets of Awakening channel, and welcome to our Sabbath class. We're going to do our moment of silence, Sabbath prayer, Psalms, and then current events, and then we'll do a little Q&A and go into the lesson. So this moment of silence is for the Almighty, which is Yahweh, and our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts, and all that they're doing to orchestrate our deliverance in these last days. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, Sabbath day, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servants David, Solomon, Enoch, and Samuel, and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in the rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad. For you possess the power to turn us, O Lord, and we desire to walk after thee and to keep your commandments and your testimony and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea. Hear, O Lord, and do. And hide not thy face from us any longer, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay, so we're going to read Psalms. Okay. I'm going to read Psalms 132 because it's sound fitting and proper. Okay, Psalms 132 is a prayer for blessings of the sanctuary. It says, Lord, remember David in all his afflictions, how he swore unto the Lord and vowed unto the mighty God of Jacob. Surely I will not come into the tabernacle of my house, nor go up into my bed. I will not give sleep to mine eyes, or slumber to my eyelids, until I find out a place for the Lord, a habitation for the mighty God of Jacob. Lo, we heard of it in Ephrata. We found it in the fields of the woods. We will go into the tabernacle. We will worship at his footstool. Arise, O Lord, in thy rest, thou and the ark of thy strength, and let the priests be clothed with righteousness, and let thy saints shout for joy. For thy servant David's sake, turn not away thy face from thy anointed. The Lord hath sworn in truth unto David. He will not turn from of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne. If thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon the throne forevermore. For the Lord hath chosen Zion, he hath desired it for his habitation. This is my rest forever. Here will I dwell, for I have desired it. I will abundantly bless her provisions, and I will satisfy her poor with bread, and I will also clothe her priests with salvation, and her saints shall shout aloud for joy. There will I make the horn of David to bud. I have ordained a lamp for mine anointing. His enemies will I clothe with shame, but upon himself shall his crown flourish. Okay. Anybody have any comments on that? Okay. Let's shine a light on verse 7. It says, we will go up into the tabernacle, and we will worship at his footstool. When you understand who that is, we know who the tabernacle is. That's the tabernacle that was instructed by Moses to build in the wilderness. We're going to go into that a little later on in the class. But so this tabernacle is for the Lord of hosts. Creator Yahweh, he got a temple in heaven already. So it's the Lord of hosts. David was dealing with, so he said that he's not going to sleep or let his eyelids. Verse 4. Psalm 132, verse 4 says, I will give sleep. I will not give sleep to mine eyes or slumber to mine eyelids until I find a place for the Lord. It's the Lord of hosts. Their habitation for the mighty God. That's the tabernacle. David had a desire to build a temple. We know Solomon built it, but David's relationship with him, knowing his position, wanted him to have a place to rest, a place to dwell. That's how he built it. Solomon built the temple. David made all the preparations, but Solomon built it. And so he's on the right hand side of the Father, but the tabernacle that's in Zion, that's in Jerusalem, is his footstool. So we're going to read that again. We will go into his tabernacle. We will worship at his footstool. So the tabernacle is his footstool. Make that plain. Okay. So with that being said, nobody have no comments. I'm going to go to current events. Anybody got a current event?
Shalom.
Okay.
I just have a little announcement. I don't know if everybody on here has Amazon Prime, but you can expect the prices to go up next month, but your packages will not be coming any faster. So, we still going to have that delay in deliverance, but effective next month on your next bill for March, the price will go up.
Make that song.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's, during this time, that's just, crazy for them to, raise the price for Amazon Prime, but you're not getting, what you sign up for.
Right. Okay. Is this song? Yeah, that's an excuse for them anyway. They always, just like when a hurricane or anything else comes, they jack the prices up. So they
Right.
just an excuse for them. Yeah. Is this song? Okay. Anybody else have any current event? Okay. Got a couple right here. Okay. This person. She need to know information.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. I have a very interesting report I'm going to be sharing with you. Thank you to Sister CC for sharing this with me. For those of you who I don't remember to, thank you for. I really appreciate the stories you share, Sister Dolores. Those of you who email me stories, if I don't call your name, please know that I do appreciate it. I just don't remember all of the time to share it, especially when several people share the same thing. But anyway, in this particular video, I'm going to be sharing a very interesting report with you regarding the U.S. Census and how it sees Middle Eastern and North African people. It kind of uses this census and calls them white. Okay, it sees them as white. Now that's become a problem for many of them because they feel like they are left out, if you know what I mean. And then there are white people who don't see them as white, so they're like, where do we fit into all of this? They've been told by officials that they are supposed to check white. So that's a whole other topic right there. What that does is if you are Middle Eastern or some other or part of some other racial group and you have to check white, you're told to check white, that actually increases the overall population number of the white demographic. So something is amiss here that needs to be fixed, definitely. Anyway, in this report, you're going to hear a lot of details of what's going on. Also, when you hear the reference to MENA, that simply means Middle Eastern and North African. Okay, so they're just abbreviating it so you don't have to, so they wouldn't have to keep on saying it throughout the report. But anyway, MENA references Middle Eastern and Northern African people. Okay. Anyway, take a listen at this report, how they are classified as white according to the U.S. Census. After the report, I will be right back.
There's a reality about race in the U.S. that has confounded many people of Middle Eastern or North African descent. The federal government officially categorizes people with origins in Lebanon, Iran, Egypt, and other countries in the MENA region as white. But that racial identity has not matched the discrimination in housing, at work, and through other parts of daily life that many say they have faced. Younger people of MENA descent have had a plethora of different experiences that made them feel that some of their experiences were actually closer to communities of color in the U.S., says Nada Magbula, an associate professor of sociology at the University of Toronto, who has conducted research on the topic. The paradox has been hard to show through data. But a newly released study co-authored by Magbula offers suggestive evidence that a majority of people with MENA origins do not see themselves as white. Meanwhile, a substantial percentage of white people who do not identify as MENA or Latino do not perceive MENA people as white either, the study also suggests. The findings match the lived realities of many people of MENA descent. For the paper published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, which cites NPR's reporting Magbula, along with her co-authors Ariella Schachter and Renee D. Flores, used online surveys to conduct experiments last summer with close to 1,100 participants. They included one group of people who identified as white and not MENA or Latino, as well as two cohorts who either identified as Middle Eastern or reported having at least one grandparent born in the Middle East or North Africa. Presented with a Middle Eastern or North African category, 88% of people of MENA descent in the study, who could select one or more categories, chose that option when identifying their race, ethnicity, or origin. The results also show that adding Middle Eastern or North African to a list of response options dramatically lowered the share of people with MENA origins self-identifying with only the white category. Another part of the study asked participants to classify made-up profiles of individuals that included names, ancestors, countries of origins, and other details. Characteristics related to the Middle East or North Africa, the findings suggest, would not be categorized as white by many people of MENA descent or by white people who do not identify as MENA or Latino. I think that's a very powerful finding, which I think anecdotally has been felt by most Arab Americans in their daily lives, says Christina Drouch, a professor of sociology at Eastern Michigan University whose research...
Okay. Any comments on that?
Isn't in that region mostly, Arab people?
Yeah, the Arab people, but it goes back to when like most of us have lack of understanding and lack of understanding on history. are familiar with history, but just like when the conquistadors came to South America, they, and even the Vikings, they intermixed, they bred with the women, and they changed the appearance of the people, lighten up their complexity. That's what the Arabs is. So all they're doing is just connecting back with, connecting to their roots. They bring them over
Right.
here, they connect them to their roots. But it's a bigger. By me looking at that, it's a bigger picture to it when you understand what just happened. What happened the last couple of elections was the blacks got the blacks came in and overwhelmed the election process. So now they trying to build up the vote count on the white side. That's why she was saying earlier that uh, they told them to put down white. You know, when they put down what they nationality or race is, put down white. So it's and then they coming over here, they already have money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So they putting them in
Yeah.
that category where for to vote Republican and vote white. That's what that is. Yeah. Anybody got any comments on that? Okay. Go to another one. Okay.
Rivalry. It's a rerun of the 20th century, but this time there is a big difference. This time there's a third player, and this third player has no stakes in Europe, no military presence, no strategic influence, not yet. But it's watching the standoff closely. I'm talking about China. What would China do if war breaks out? The past offers some clues. In 2014, when Putin annexed Crimea, China was on the fence. They did not recognize Russia's occupation. At the same time, they blamed the West for creating this crisis. And 2022, this year, could be a repeat of that. China cannot publicly endorse an invasion. They cannot support a war. What they can do is this: A, blame the West for instigating the crisis, and B, help Putin navigate Western sanctions. They've done it before, in 2014. And they will do it again if war breaks out. In fact, Chinese state media is already doing the groundwork for this. Let me show you some headlines. Here's what one of them says. US needs Ukraine crisis to legitimize its military presence in Europe. Here's another one. Instigating.
Yeah, I want to shine a light on that right quick before we go any further. So based on the information that we got, rightly dividing it, I've been telling everybody about the Rolling Belt Initiative and how it's directly tied to the shipping industry, what's going on, what's in the haywire right now, which is intentional. They behind that. So in the past, every time Russia invaded Ukraine back in 2014, round up in there, and they put a bunch of sanctions on Russia, and when they do those sanctions, it cripples the nation. It cripples Russia. Well, this time they prepared for that because they got the Rolling Belt Initiative, like I said, already in place. So soon as Russia make it do what it's gonna do, and they try to impose those sanctions on them, all they're gonna do is convert that the flow of they supplies and all that toward the Rolling Belt Initiative. They already got set up, and Putin just went over there right before before the Olympics started and signed a deal with Russia over like a $200 billion deal on gas and all that. So They're already preparing for it. They know what they're gonna do. They're gonna attack. He's gonna attack Ukraine, and then China gonna attack Taiwan. And they already got all their stuff, their ducks in a row in order to survive whatever the West gonna try to do. But all it's gonna do is it's gonna cripple the West, because they're not gonna have no kind of dealings with China, and they ain't gonna have no dealings with Russia. He's gonna, Europe is predominantly supplied with electricity and gas from Russia. So those countries are gonna have to make a decision: does it keep on riding with NATO and riding with US, or are they gonna have to go where their supplies coming from? Pretty much know what they're gonna do.
Ukraine crisis serves U.S. interests. You see the pattern. And this will be China's first step. Blame the West. Step number two will be undermining Western sanctions. It's something of a Chinese specialty. America's rivals are China's business partners, whether it's Iran, Venezuela, or North Korea. We saw an indication of this at the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics. Vladimir Putin was also in attendance. He signed an important energy deal with Xi Jinping. China will buy oil and gas worth $117 billion from Russia. $117 billion. It's simple logic. If Europe shuts the tap, all of that Russian gas will have to go somewhere, and that somewhere would well be China. And the numbers support this plan. In 2021, China-Russia trade reached $146 billion. That was up almost 36% from 2020. So Xi and Putin are sinking their economy. Even Washington is aware of this plan.
If we see foreign companies, including those in China, doing their best to backfill U.S. export control actions, to evade them, to get around them. I wouldn't want to speculate on what those tools are, but we do have tools that can address that, and that would seek to account for that.
That's a warning for Chinese companies. If you help Russia, we will target you. The problem is such threats may have worked in 2014. Back then, Chinese companies needed the Western market. Today, the equation has changed. China won't think twice before violating Western sanctions. What's in it for them? Vladimir Putin is getting a market for his oil. He's getting relief from sanctions. What is Xi Jinping getting? Well, he's getting two things. Number one, a template for invading Taiwan. China is looking for America's weaknesses. How eagerly are they supporting Ukraine? What kind of weapons are they sending? Will US soldiers get involved? These answers will determine China's own plans for Taiwan. If America's response is weak, it will embolden China. Plus, it's a valuable distraction for them. In 2021, all the focus was on Beijing, on their genocide in Xinjiang, on their piracy in the South China Sea, and their attempts to cover up the Wuhan virus origins. But this...
Right. So, like I said before, what you're looking at is, it's like with the road runner and the coyote. He saw on the bottom off Monday. Yeah, he's falling around, but the coyotes, the road runner saw on the bottom off Monday while he as we speak. And when it comes to a head, yeah, that's it. You're seeing the demise of the U.S. government and the United States and the West. So on the bottom off Monday, they got all their ducks in a row. Okay, any comments on that? Okay, I got I was gonna shine some light on for my need to know information. I was gonna shine a light on Isaiah 54:17. We hear that verse all the time, but I want to shine a light on it. Okay, it's Isaiah 54:17. Read it right quick. Okay, it says 54:17 says, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, said the Lord. So this is when during the time when they were putting the tabernacle in the wilderness and they were building the tabernacle, Israel was coming a nation. And like I showed you last night, at one point Israel was a child. It was being developed. That was during the time when the Israelites, when Jacob and them left from Canaan and went into the land of Egypt, and then they dwelled there at Goshen as guests. Then the Egyptians turned on them and put them in captivity, and then they came out of Egypt. That's when they came out as a nation, come out as a nation. And so he was telling them when he was dealing with them, the Lord of hosts was telling them, he says that if you do this right here, no weapon that is formed against you, enemies, because Israel got all kind of enemies, no weapon is formed against thee shall prosper. So no plan anybody come up with, you can cut them off. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage. So that's our heritage, even to this day. Everybody want to know running around about the land, but this is a heritage right here. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. So if you righteous, and you're keeping the Most High commandments, and you're doing everything you can to draw closer to Him, He says, this is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, said the Lord. So He's telling you, when you do this, when you're keeping His commandments and doing what you're supposed to do, nothing is formed against you gonna work. And He's gonna bring up whatever you need, whatever you in need of, it's coming. That's what He's telling you right there. It's Isaiah 54 and verse 17. Okay? Any comments? Okay, so with that being said, I was gonna open up for some Q&A. Anybody have any thing they want to bring up, questions or comments about anything before we go into the lesson, the topic?
Yes. Yesterday, we were talking about Moses and all the names for him, and how he was discovered. But I'm trying to figure out. I guess when I was reading, I was thinking, how did they not know that Pharaoh's sister? How did they not? Where did they think this child came from? I mean, was she married? I mean, they don't give a lot of background about it. I'm just wondering how they believe that she just came up with this baby all of a sudden.
No, when you read the story, see, one of the things about it is, from my understanding, is that the Pharaoh daughter had lost her husband in war, so she was kind of like grieving, right? And so then she went to So then she went to when the Most High brought the heat. He brought a heat on extreme heat on the Egyptians, and they all came down to the river trying to get relieve themselves in the Nile of the heat, and that's when the Most High had already placed Moses in a basket. So all Egyptians knew that the Pharaoh was seeking to kill the Hebrew boys. So yesterday, when you read the story, it tells you they saw the baby in the basket and they knew it was a Hebrew baby. That's what the story says.
Yeah, but I'm just saying Pharaoh did not know. So
yeah, he knew. He knew too.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. Let me read it again. Let me see. Let me get that. Let me read that. Yeah. So he knows. So let me read. Let me show what I'm talking about. I'm in 66. Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I had mentioned Balaam. So if you go to Numbers, Balaam the one that Balak was trying to get to curse the Israelites. So it says, mm, so right here, yeah, Balaam says, okay, now yeah, I'm in chapter 7 of Joshua, and it says in verse 6. Now this Balaam talking. I start at verse 5. And Balaam the son of Beor, the musician, answered before the king and the princes, and he said, remember now, my lord and king, and the dream which thou didst dream many days since, that and that which thy servant interpreted unto thee. That servant is a Hebrew. That's Joseph, right? He talking about when Joseph deciphered the dream, they got him out of the, they took Joseph out of prison and brought Joseph before him, right? And they said that if you recall the story, they said that the spirit of the gods, these 7 angels, the spirit of God was on Joseph. Then he picked it up in verse 6. So Balaam was there then. So then 6 says, now therefore, this Balaam talking, this child is from the Hebrew children. You know you're a Hebrew. See that? Talking about Moses. See? He said, now therefore, this child is a Hebrew child, in whom is the spirit of God. They got that from Joseph. It said, and let not my lord, the king, imagine that this youngster did this thing without knowledge, because you know all these Hebrew boys super sharp. And they got these, they're coming up dealing with these angels. So 7, for he is a Hebrew boy, and his wisdom and his understanding are with him, although he is a child. And with wisdom he has done this and chosen unto himself the kingdom of Egypt. See that? So they knew. They knew he was Hebrew.
Okay, with them knowing that he was a Hebrew boy, right?
Right.
What was the purpose of the onyx and the coal then? Because they know Hebrew boys, men, they are wise.
Right. So you gotta. I mean, like I was saying before, what happens is it seems like it's trivial, but I bring up all this stuff and bringing up these little stories all over the place for a reason, for this type of conversation. So if you go back to when Moses and Nimrod, right? What Nimrod wanted to do was he wanted it when he found out about the star in the sky and all that. When Moses, when Abraham was born, he sent them to go get the baby. He wanted to smash his head. He wanted to slam his head against the wall. And I'm not being perverted or whatever. He wanted to take the baby, slam his head against the wall to kill him, because he don't want him to be raised, to grow up and take over. So he wanted to get rid of him. So what they had to do, they lied to him, told him Terah Maid had a son. That's who they say bring him to him. So Terah Maid had just had a son just long the same time that Abraham was born. They brought Terah's maid's son to him, and he smashed his head against the wall, thinking that he was killing Abraham. So now you come to this story. They done told him this boy got just been born. They already had tried to kill him, but then they took Moses and had him in the house with them. Moses came up and took the crown off his head, right? Hello?
Right. Yes.
So now they saying that's an omen, something going on. Why this little bitty boy trying to take the crown off his head? They was gonna kill him. They weren't gonna do nothing else. They were gonna take him, smash his head against the wall in front of the Pharaoh so he can so whatever he got going on, they're gonna shut it down. But let's look what happened. The only way they turned his hatred and all that toward Abraham, the only way they turned it was they lied to him. They gave him the other little baby thinking it was him. He smashed his head, so that turned his anger. He thought it was over with. So right here, Moses was already ordained in the book of life in heaven, so they got to save him. They got to turn that anger that the Pharaoh got, and and Balaam them got for him. So let's look at it. Let me get it right quick in a minute. Okay, so let me get it. So here it goes. It says,
17:25.
hold on a minute. It says, okay. Okay, so it says, I'm picking up where I was left off at. It says, for he is a Hebrew boy, and wisdom and understanding are with him, although he is yet a child, and wisdom has he done, wisdom has he done this and chosen to himself the kingdom of Egypt. For this manner, the Hebrews devised kings and nobles to do all these things cunningly in order to make the kings of the earth and their men tremble. So get on down to 18. Now therefore, my Lord, this Balaam giving him advice what to do. Now for my Lord the king, behold, this child has risen up. See, in the stead in Egypt, to do according to their deeds and to trifle with every king, prince, and judge. If it please the king, let us now spill his blood upon the ground, slam his head against the wall. See that? So see, they ain't got no options. Ain't no other options. So Moses is in a pickle. So it says right here, spill his blood to the ground, lest he grow up and take away the government from thy hand, and the hope of Egypt perish as he have after he shall have reigned. And Balaam said to the king, let us moreover call for all the judges of Egypt and the wise men, and let us know if the judgment of death is due this boy. So he already got plans. They're gonna smash his head against the wall, as thou say, and then we will slay him. Right now, heaven got to act. Heaven got to take up over. So the Pharaoh sent and called for all the wise men of Egypt, and they came before the king. And here you go. And the angel of the Lord came amongst them, and he was like one of the wise men of the earth. So I told you how these angels got the ability to shapeshift, transform themselves into anything that they want to change into. That's what the average person don't know. So this angel came in amongst them like one of them. And then 22, and the king said unto the wise men, surely you have heard that this boy who is in the house has done, and thus has Balaam judged in that manner. So they already made the case. They're going to slam his head against the wall. Then 23, now the judge you also and see what is due to the boy for the act he has committed. Said, and the angel of the Lord, who seemed like one of the wise men of Pharaoh, answered, he intervened and said as follows: before all the wise men of Egypt and before all the kings and the princes, if it please the king, let the king send them for men who shall bring before him an onyx stone and a coal of fire. That's what the Israelite boys deal with, ain't it? Hello?
Yes, yes.
So this angel proclaiming this. They don't know what's going on. So
Right.
he says, let an onyx stone and a coal be coal for fire, and place them before the child. And if the child shall stretch forth his hand and take the onyx stone, that's tied to Egypt. Onyx stone, then shall we know that the wisdom has the youth done all this, or he has done, we must slay him. But if you get the coal, that means you ignorant. Coal hot. So then it says, but if he stretch forth his hand upon the coal, then shall we know that it was not, or with knowledge that he did this thing, and he shall live. Then keep going. And the thing seemed good to the eyes of the king and the princes. So the king did according to the words of the angel of the Lord. And the king ordered the onyx stone and the coal to be brought and placed before Moses. And they placed the boy before them, and the lad endeavored to stretch forth his hand to the onyx stone. See that? He was going to grab the onyx stone, but look, the angel of the Lord took his hand. They can't see the angel of the Lord. See what I'm saying? They can't see him. The angel of the Lord took his hand, placed it upon the coals, like he did Jeremiah. And the coals became extinguished in his hand, and he lifted it up, put it in his mouth. See that? And it burned part of his lips and part of his tongue, and he became heavy in his mouth. That's why Moses stuttered. But anyway, so now they saying he told. They think he ignorant because he didn't grab his hot coal and put it in his mouth. So that turned their anger from killing him. Because they thought he was ignorant. They thought he was told when he took the crown off the king's head. But everything they were saying was true. But the Most High in heaven had to turn their anger off from Moses from killing them. So he took the coal.
Awesome. See that? Okay.
You see that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
The angel of the Lord was there.
He was there.
Right. So like I said
just like
before,
he is now, intervening with everything.
Right.
Yes.
That's what you have to do. You got to apply that same thing at the at the waters. See, he told Moses, go down to the water. I'm gonna be there. But who know that? He was standing right there.
Yes.
We're gonna see in the lesson today with the tabernacle that he was there. And nobody ain't factoring none of that in.
Right.
Yeah. So okay. Anybody else got anything on that?
That's something, I tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a greater understanding.
That is. Yes.
And what happens with that is you don't never forget that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't forget them. You don't forget stuff like that. If you come to the Most High, if you love Him, have a zeal for Him, those things stick. So anyway, I got something right here I want to play. It's got to do with some protests that's going on. Like I said, our deliverance is coming to a head if you pay attention. Okay, here we go.
So Sister Juan Gale had covered a story about a brother in Brazil. He's actually from the Congo. And this brother was working out there in Brazil, and he ended up going to the place that he worked. And he was like, hey, I need to get my payment because I haven't been paid for work. And if you remember the report that Sister Juan Gale covered, they had ended up tackling this brother and beating this brother to the point that this brother passed away. I mean, a horrible, horrible story. But thousands of protesters hit the streets in some of Brazil's biggest cities to denounce the racist violence against the brother from the Congo. They said one of Rio's most famous beaches. Say on Saturday, demonstrators flocked to the waterside bar where 24-year-old Moise Muginyi Kabagami. I say, listen, the names, like I said, they long, okay? And say he was, of course, if we talked about what happened to him, which is horrible, it said the racially charged murder captured, as in the chilling security camera footage was followed days later by another killing, in which an unarmed black man was shot by a white neighbor who claimed to have confused him with a thief. They said if black blood's worth nothing, one person said by the name of Bruno de Silva. They said one of the several thousand people that joined Saturday's rally on Barra de Tijuca Beach in Rio. They say, we're here to say it doesn't matter. They say that we won't rest until we get justice. Now, Silva, he's 40, says she understood they say the pain of losing a child. Say her son, Marcos de Silva, they said was 14 when he was gunned down during a police operation in Rio's Complexo de Mare community. Also present was the mother of the young brother that was killed from the Congo. They say who fled the conflict, they say in the DRC, they say in 2011 and built a new life in Brazil. So they left the Congo and ended up losing their life over there. Now there's a video, you say, of the young brother's brother itself. I want you to go ahead and roll that short clip.
Aqui, recolhido no Brasil, mamãe, abaixa,
Now, many, as you heard the brother, I mean, that's sad. That is sad. You know, you say you left the African continent to come over there and to lose your life. But you know, if you're going to immigrate somewhere, you need to study the layout of the land. We're going to talk about it a little bit more about the layout of the land here in the story. But it said many demonstrators, they say also.
Yeah, so what you're looking at, they had a George Floyd event here in America. And it didn't change the demographics of what's going on with us and what's been happening to us the last since we've been here. And so now they had that same type of event that happened over there. So they're gonna have to do something because the people ain't going. You know, they ain't going back. You know, it's up at the forefront. And somebody, you know, these governments, this global situation, they're gonna have to make a decision. You know, and like the scriptures were saying, it was done because of the Most High got a plan. He bringing it to a head. He the one behind it. Okay. Any comments? Yeah, it's unfolding right in front of everybody's face, but a lot of people ain't looking at it, ain't seeing it. No comments on that? Okay, so what we gonna do right here?
It's sad.
Oh yeah.
No,
those things gotta happen. You know, like I said, they gotta happen in order to bring us to you know, in order for us to come to the point where we gotta be delivered. Right. So we're gonna go into the lesson, and this lesson is about I'm gonna be covering a lot of stuff and connecting a lot of dots. So tie your shoes up. It says we're dealing with the tabernacle in the wilderness, and the tabernacle in the wilderness, and that tabernacle that they had in the wilderness, which we had to have provisions for it. So the Most High, understanding in the beginning from the end that they had to have provisions in order that they needed. These are people that was in captivity in Egypt for 400 years, and then they had to be when they came out, they had to have provisions in order to be able to do all the things they was doing on their road from Egypt to their promised land. They had to have provisions. So that's where the great substance come in Genesis chapter 15 with Abraham. The Most High telling Abraham that, you know, you're gonna go into captivity, and then I'm gonna punish that nation, and you're gonna come out with great substance. But it's a reason they had to come out with great substance. We're finna see that through the story right here, through the tabernacle in the wilderness. And I mean, you know, it's gonna be plain. So I'm gonna read Exodus chapter 25 first. This is when they was coming out of Egypt. Exodus chapter 25. And so you come across a question, you just ask it. We can stop and deal with it and keep going. It's all good. So I'm in Exodus 25. I'm gonna read 1 through 2. 1 and 2 says, and the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel that they bring me an offering. See that? They bring me an offering of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart. He shall take my offering. So, like I said before, they don't have nothing. They've been in captivity for 400 years. Where is this offering gonna come from? The great substance that he gonna get in. When they left, they said they spoiled the Egyptians. All the Israelites got great wealth off of the Egyptians. The Egyptians came out, was giving it to them, gave them all this stuff. They had all this on them now. That's why he can say that right here. It says, speaking to the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart. Ye shall take my offering. And this is the offering. Look at this. This is the offering which ye shall take of them. Gold, remember this. Gold, silver, and brass. and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hairs and ram skin dyed red and badger skins and shechem wood. Remember all this? Oil for the light, spices for onion or anointing oil, and for sweet incense. Onyx stone. We just ran into the onyx stone, didn't we?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I'm saying. Onyx stone. And the stone to be, so go back to the story. The Egyptians in Balaam got set up. The angel of the Lord set them up. Anyway, so it says onyx stone, and the stone to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate, and let them make it. Look at this. Let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. So the whole purpose with that was verse 8. He gave them a great substance because they have to build them a tabernacle. They got to build them a sanctuary. So that's the tabernacle. That's in the wilderness. So like I said before, it don't apply to America. Like I said, Hosea talking to us. But with everything he told Abraham, it's applying to this right here. Great substance. So anyway, let's keep going. And then verse 8, I'm reading Ezekiel chapter 25. Exodus 25 and 8 and 9 says, I just read 8. It says, and let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell amongst them. Then it said, according to all that I showed thee after the pattern of the tabernacle, that tabernacle, not the temple, pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of the instruments thereof, even so shall ye make. Okay, so let's keep on. From Exodus chapter 40. I'm just laying it out for you. So chapter 40 says, I'm starting at 34. When they came out, after they came out, they got the great substance, and he brought them out. So it says, then the cloud covered the tent of the congregation. Just after they made the tabernacle. The cloud, I'm kind of, like I said, I'll be going around, but I'm just giving you some information. The glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. So this is another mishaps. But it go over people's head, because I know it go over their head, because it went over my head. The Most High had to backtrack on me, show it to me. So anyway, so he says, the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. So go to Ezekiel 38. Go to Ezekiel chapter 1. That's the same cloud. You know what was in that cloud? He told you what was in that cloud in Ezekiel 38. Ezekiel 1, what Ezekiel saw. 4 living creatures was in the cloud. Okay? So then he says, 35, and Moses was not able to enter into the tabernacle of the congregation because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the clouds was not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day they was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. So let's go back. Let's go to Ezekiel right quick. We ain't gonna play with it. So I'm in Ezekiel chapter 1. Ezekiel chapter 1 says, chapter 1, verse 3. The word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Kabar, and the hand of the Lord was upon him. So look at this. It said, the word of the Lord came. So the Lord came, we know that's an angel, came to Ezekiel. But look what's verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, a fire enfolding itself, brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, the color amber, and out of the midst of the fire, look at it, also out of the midst thereof, thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance, and they had the likeness of man. So what's going on? This Godhead. This Godhead is over Israel. This Godhead is over heaven and over Israel, over Most High creation. They're all in that cloud. So let that firmate. Anyway, so keep going.
Quick question. Why was Moses not able to enter the tent?
Huh?
I mean, I know he was not able to enter it. So if he set it up, I'm just wondering why he could not enter the tent with the congregation.
What? Ain't nobody in there. Ain't nobody in there.
Oh,
But
they're not in there. He just was just the
ain't
tent.
nobody in there. So they go back to when he was on Mount Sinai. He told them, go down there, put borders around the mountains. Don't let nobody come in there. I'm gonna kill him. Cause of sin. Moses got sin on him. So that's a wake up call for everybody today. They're fumbling with all these excuses they coming up with. You can't come in. You can't come around the Most High. So if Moses couldn't go in there, what you think will happen to you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's like I said, bad understanding. See, a bad understanding gonna get you in a
Get you
caught up in a
zapped.
trip. Yeah. He can't go in there cause he got sin on him. He gotta wait. That's why he can go in there. So 2,000, 2,500 years later, how much sin you think we got on us? Ain't no, the commandments and the situation that was going on back then, it ain't changed. We didn't change. Sin and increase. That's all that happened. But most high regulations and its concepts and precepts and all that, ain't none of that changed. We fumbling with it. That's all that is. And that's gonna get you caught up. You don't get it right. So anyway, let me go back where I was at. I started 34, and I was in 34 in Exodus chapter 20, 34. Let me see, Exodus 40. Right. So yeah, I read all that. Okay, so now I'm in 27. Like I was saying, I had read earlier where he told him to build the tabernacle, and then he told him to get the gold, the silver, and all that. Right. So now we in Exodus 27. Keep in mind this great substance he told Abraham about, and Abraham had the vision. So I'm in chapter 27, and it says 27, 1 and 2 says, and thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long, 5 cubits. Remember, that was some of the great substance they got, was the shittim wood, right? You wouldn't think that, but that's part of the great substance. He mentioned all that over there. So he said, shittim wood, 5 cubits long, 5 cubits broad, and the altar shall be four square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof. His horns shall be of the same, and they shall overlay it with brass. Brass is one of the great substances they had. Gold, silver, and brass, right? So they need all of it for right here. That's why they got it. So anyway, 6 and 7 says, and thou shalt make staves for the altar, staves of shittim, the old shittim wood again, and overlay it with brass. See that? And the staves shall be put into the rings, and the staves shall be unto the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. Hollow with boards shall they make it, as it were showed thee on the mount. So shall thou make it. Okay. So now we in exit 25. Okay, this the vessels, some of the vessels. Exit 25 says, let me give it. Exit 25, 30, 31, 32, which says, okay, this golden candlestick. This is what they took from the Egyptians, the great substance. They spoiled the Egyptians of the gold. There's gold all over Egypt. So 31, and thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knobs, and his flowers shall be of the same. and 6 branches shall come out from the sides of it, 3 branches of a candlestick out of one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. Okay, let me see what I'm at. Yeah, out of the other side. So see that gold. That's what gold is needed for. That's what they need it for. So 37 through 40 says, and thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they have give light over against it, and the tongues thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold, and a talent of pure gold shall he make it, and with all these vessels. That's what I just told you. Go to the other story we dealt with, when what caused Nebuchadnezzar, and he told them, you're going into Babylon for 70 years, then you're going to come out after 70 years. Serve Nebuchadnezzar, his son, and his grandson. And the grandson got these same vessels right here that was holy, and had a party with them. That was the demise of the Babylonian Empire right there, because of these vessels right here. Same vessels he got him making right here with this gold that they got, the great substance they got from Egypt, is what caused the Babylonian Empire to fall. Ignorance. He could have got any kind of other dishes he wanted except these, but he wants these right here to have a party with. So anyway, and remember, when they went into Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar took the king and the king's son, the king's wife, and his grandmama, and the vessels. They all go together. They all go together. King's son, David, the house of David, all they go with the vessels. Okay? So we in Exodus 23, 25, and verse 23 to 30. Let me see where I'll read that. Yeah, 23 to 30. So it says, it's a table of shewbread, right? I don't know if you know about it, but just a table where the 12 loaves of bread go on the table, and the 12 loaves of bread is for the 12 tribes, which symbolizes that the Most High provide for them. That's what the bread is. So it says, thou shalt also make a table of shechem wood. They go to shechem wood again. I might be saying this word wrong. Shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and the cubic of breadth thereof, and the cubic of half thereof, and thou shalt overlay it. See that? You can't overlay it with gold if you ain't got it. See that? Say, thou shalt overlay it with gold, and make thereof a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt make it unto it the borders of a handbreadth round about. And thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. And thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings of the 4 corners that are on the 4 feet thereof over against the border. Shall the rings be for places of the staves to bear the table. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay it with gold, and the table shall be and shall make the table be borne with it. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof. These was what Nebuchadnezzar's son, Belteshazzar, I think his name was, Belteshazzar, had a party with. There are spoons thereof, cover thereof, bowls thereof, cover with gold, or pure gold that shall be made. And thou shalt set upon the table the showbread before me, always, for him, always. So that's his dishes. So he had a party with the Lord of Hosts dishes. Okay, let's let's get it right. So I'm in chapter 30 of Ezekiel 31. Exodus 30 verses 1 through 5. Okay, so it says, and thou shalt make an altar, right, to burn incense upon, of citron wood. See that? That's why they had all that. I mean, you guys go back and when you looking at this before it's being broken down now, what the hell the Israelites need was some chicken wood. They coming out of captivity. What they need was citron wood. And you see, everything they made it with, it had to be this citron wood of great substance. It wasn't just no couple of wagons full of citron wood. They had it in great substance, a whole bunch of them. So it said, of citron wood shalt thou make it, and a cubit shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, 80 shall it be, 2 cubits shall be the height thereof, and the horns thereof shall be the same. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and the top thereof, and the sides thereof round about, and the horns thereof, and thou shalt make it a crown of gold round about. And 2 golden rings shalt thou make to it under the crown thereof, and by the 2 corners thereof, upon the tops and the sides thou shalt make it, and they shall be for a place for the staves to bear it with it. And thou shalt make the staves of Shechem wood and overlay them with gold. Great. So now I want to take it to another level because I want you to see something. So I'm Exit 25:10 to 14 says, 25:10 through 14 says, thou shalt make an ark of Shechem wood. Did we hear it again? It's the ark. It's the ark. Thou shalt make an ark of Shechem wood, 2 cubits and 5 and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with gold, pure gold, within and without. And thou shalt overlay it and make upon it a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof. And 2 rings shall be in the side of it, and the 2 rings on the other side. And thou shalt make staves of Shechem wood and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of this ark, and ark that the ark may be borne with them. And the staves shall be in the rings of the ark, and they shall not be taken from it. And thou shalt put it into the ark of the testimony, which I shall give thee. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold, right? 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And thou shalt make 2 cherubim of gold. See all this gold? They had a shipload of gold they was toting around to do all this gold, all this. This is a great substance. You can fumble with it if you want to. So 18, and thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold of beaten work shalt thou make them, in 2 ends of the mercy seat, and make 1 cherubim on the one end, and the other cherubim on the other end. Even the mercy seat shall be make of cherubim of 2 ends thereof, and the cherubim shall be stretched forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to the other to another toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubim be. And thou shalt put the mercy seat above the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. So remember that. See, put the testimony that I shall give thee. Remember that. 25. And there will I meet. Look at this. There will I meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat and between the 2 cherubim which are upon the seat of the testimony, right? Of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel. Now let's see what he's talking about. Let's go to Isaiah. I read this verse all the time, but we're going to get some serious meaning to it today. So I'm in Isaiah 43. Testimony, mercy seat, right? So 43 and 10. I go there all the time. This is the most Lord of hosts. Not Yahweh, not Yahushua, none of them. John the Baptist ain't none of them. So he says, ye are my witnesses, said the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me. Right? Even I am the Lord, and besides me there is no Savior. I have declared, I have saved, I have showed when there was no strange God among you. Therefore ye are my witnesses. See that? You are my witnesses, says the Lord, that I am God. Why are he saying witness? They see him. They dealing with him in the temple with the mercy seat. See that? That's why he's saying that. Verse 10, ye are my witnesses. Ain't nobody else. These men wonder that. They in the temple, they in what people don't understand is that in the tabernacle, where the table showbread, the lampstand and all that, The Holy of Holies, all that's connected, but it's just a curtain. There's a curtain that's in between that. Divide the room up, and the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy of Holies is behind that curtain. But all the stuff that's in there, the furniture, all that had to be overlaid with gold. All that in there is overlaid with gold. And like I said, just like us now, we leave here. If the Most High don't give us what we need, we gonna leave here. We ain't gonna have nothing. We ain't got nothing now. So when you talking to Abraham, he tell Abraham they going into captivity in Egypt, and I'm gonna give them great sustenance when they come out. Because they gotta build something for me to have a place to meet with him at. So they came out with everything they need. You see right here, they had a truckload of shitting wood, and a truckload of gold, brass, and silver. They needed all that, but it's tabernacle in the wilderness. Okay? So anyway, keep going. I'm almost finished. Let me read another pertaining to that right there. I don't want to leave no stone unturned. Numbers. Chapter 17, right quick. Second witness. Numbers. Chapter 17 says, chapter 17 of Numbers 1 through 5. That the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, this who got all the great substance, and take every one of them a rod according to the house of their fathers, and all their princes according to the house of their fathers, 12 rods. And write thou every man a name upon his rod, and thou shalt write Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi, and the rod shall be for the head of the house of their fathers, and thou shalt lay them up in the tabernacle of the congregation before the testimony. See that? They go to testimony where I will meet with you. See that? So, like I said, they ain't going in there and ain't nobody in there. He in there, just like he was standing on the rock with Moses. That's what we not comprehending. So he says, and where I will meet with you, and it shall come to pass that the man's rod whom I shall choose shall blossom, and I will make to cease from me the murmuring of the children of Israel, whereby they murmur against you. So all of them had a rod. You may know you got a rod, it's been cut from a tree, it's dried up. So he got their mind right. He took Moses' rod, and Moses' rod, the next day when they came in there, Moses' rod had blossom, had flowers on it and almonds, had fruit on it. But they met him. They met him in there, and they saw that. We fumbling with it, okay? Anyway, keep going. So, go to Exodus 29. 29 and 38, 29, 38 to 43 says daily offerings. Now, this is that which thou shalt offer upon the altar, 2 lambs of the first year, day by day, continuously. The one lamb thou shalt offer in the morning, and the other lamb thou shalt offer at evening. And with the one lamb and a tenth deal of flour mingled with the 4 parts of hin and beaten oil, and the 4th part of the hin of the wine for a drink offering. And the other lamb thou shalt offer at evening, and thou shalt therefore and shall do therefore according to the meat offering, and the morning according to the drink offering thereof, for sweet savor and offering made by fire upon the Lord. And thou shalt be a continual burnt offering throughout your generations, right? See that? Throughout your generation, at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, before the Lord, where I will meet you and speak there unto you. See that? They say 43. And there will I meet with you, the children of Israel, and the tabernacle shall be satisfied by my glory. And I will sanctify the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar. And I will sanctify also both Aaron and his sons to minister to me in the priest office. All this happened. This is in the beginning. So you can't go in Walmart and get an electric heater out there and don't see the secretary. I mean, don't see the cashier. You got to pay for it. You go in there and you can't come out there without paying for it with somebody that you dealt with to pay for it. So right here, he went in there and he said he's gonna cleanse him and he's gonna do all these things to him. He made Aaron rod, bud. They came in there. He was in there. That's why we in the predicament we in. He ain't around. Okay. So anyway, I'm in Exodus 30. This when he cleansed Aaron's sons. So he can't cleanse them all the way from heaven. His arm, you know how long his arm got to be to cleanse them all the way from heaven? So anyway, I'm in Exodus chapter 30. This when he cleansed Aaron and his sons. Okay. 17:32 says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, thou shalt also make a laver of brass. They go to brass, and his foot also of brass, and a wash withal, and thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar. Here we go about why Moses couldn't go into the temple. So you got the altar where they're making a sacrifice at, in between that and the tabernacle. I just told you where they meet him at. They got to clean themselves with this laver right here. With this, and his water got to be there. It says, and wash withal, and thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar. See that? And thou shalt put water therein. See that? For Aaron and his sons shall wash themselves, wash their hands and their feet therewith. When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with the water. And they look at this. This how serious it is. And they shall wash with the water that they die not. Don't get no serious in that. That they die not. Or when they come near unto the altar to minister, to burn offerings made by fire unto the Lord. So they shall wash their hands and their feet, that they die not, and it shall be a statute forever to them, even to him and to his seed thereof, the generation. So, like I said before, why they gonna die? Who in there? Who in there is gonna kill them? Somebody in there. They going there the wrong way, they gonna die. Come on. So
the Ark of the Covenant is there, but it's called the Tabernacle of Congregation, but the Levites are the only ones that go inside, right?
Levites, I don't want to deal with them. They the witnesses. They
Okay.
talking about Isaiah 43.
Okay.
Right. But now with all these camps and everything else, everybody want to be, Levite. Everybody want to go in there in with this order that we see the Most High has set up. We got 11. That's the reason he took the Levites from among the Israelites. There ain't but 11 tribes. The Levites, he took them to himself. That's what he's talking about. He done brought them to himself. He done brought them into the tabernacle, into the way they dealing with him. And that has to be understood. But anyway, so anybody else got any comments about that? Questions about anything they heard? Everybody good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just reading that, the building of it was just perfect down to the curtains. I mean, exactly of what, how he wanted it built.
Right.
It was perfect. I mean, that's something.
Right. And we overlooking all that. Like I said before, you got they done twisted everything up where you can't connect the dots, but now you know why they had the great substance when they came out of Egypt. Now you see why. All the stuff they had to do with the gold that they had. It wasn't It wasn't necessarily for them. It was for the goal they had. They needed for what he's gonna. They were the child. Israel was a child then, and it was becoming a nation. And they needed all that in order to come into the fullness of the nation of Israel, who they were. And he told them what to do with the gold that he provided for them. He gave them the gold, then he turned around and said, some of this you got to give back to me to do what you got to do with the tabernacle.
Right.
So you can't, like I said, you can fumble with it if you want. So anyway, with that being said, I was going to play a little of these wise sayings from Solomon, then I'm going to close out.
Here are true words of insight from King Solomon. Young people, enjoy your youth. Be happy while you are still young. Do what you want to do and follow your heart's desire. But remember that God is going to judge you for whatever you do. Don't let anything worry you or cause you pain. You aren't going to be young very long. Knowledge is of more value than gold. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The man who walks the wise men becomes wise himself. A fool is wise in his own eyes. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Whoever stubbornly refuses to accept criticism will suddenly be broken beyond repair. If you desire wisdom like money and buried treasures, then you'll find it. Lazy hands make a man poor, but diligent hands bring wealth. Anxiety in a man's heart weighs him down, but a good word makes him glad. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Have you beheld a man skillful in his work? Before kings is where he will station himself. He will not station himself before commonplace men. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. Your own soul is nourished when you are kind. It is destroyed when you are cruel. Better the anger of a friend than the kiss of an enemy. There is an evil I have seen under the sun, the sort of error that arises from a ruler. Fools are put in many high positions, while the rich occupy the low ones. I have seen slaves on horseback, while princes go on foot like slaves. One man pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up, but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun.
Okay. So I'm gonna say shalom, and see everybody at 6 o'clock for the close out the Sabbath. I hope y'all got something out of that. Shalom.
Yes. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.